Hey, virtual Jim. Whoa, can't even say that right. Kind of doing this in a hurry. Virtual speaker Jim Carroll, hanging out in my green room, and just a tremendously exciting day today. Why? Well, number one, I got to go out and golf. It was supposed to rain, and it actually the sun came out. Number two, I did a virtual keynote while I was golfing. That was kind of a first. I mean, how cool is that? I can get into this world in which I'm hanging out in my green room and doing broadcasts from my basement. Really good for the golf game. Can't wait till ski season. Here's the thing. I'm about to play for you the video which ran today as part of the global ITC Insure Tech Conference. It's a project I began way back in August, and the conference was actually delayed for a month due to a variety of circumstances. But the video has finally gone live. It's a 15-minute video. It's a bit of an epic tour de force. I'm super crazy proud of it. Here's the thing. You're going to a lot of virtual events. I'm just ridiculously embarrassed by the industry in which I work because most meeting planners, a lot of speakers, a lot of speakers bureaus are putting out just absolutely crap product with speakers who are in front of a bookshelf. The way I've come to characterize it is they're like hostages in a hostage video. They are droning on using a PowerPoint, and I mean, this format, this world is different. We have to do it in a different way, and so that's why I'm so excited about this project, because I put a lot of my heart and soul into it with the work of my overseas video producer Armin Samoyan, and it's really kind of cool, and you're going to see it in just a couple of minutes. And I'll take you on a bit of a tour later on tomorrow as to just how it was put together. Here's what I knew in the early days of the global pandemic. Just so much crappy product out there. People were going to these virtual meetings, and I was hanging out on the stage in Las Vegas with great big production values. So someday I'll get my direction right. With people putting a lot of effort and time and money into doing events right in Las Vegas, and then we hit the virtual world, and I mean, the products just were absolutely awful. I was shocked and really appalled when COVID hit, and by the low quality stuff that was out there and that is still out there. And that's why I began focusing really early on putting together the tools to get out there and do it in a professional fashion with a high quality product. So here's what happened. There's a big global conference. They came along, they found me, they looked at the work I was doing in my green screen studio hanging out here. This particular conference, ITC Global, massive conference, 25,000 people would usually go to Las Vegas. They needed to do something different. They needed to do things right. And so a lot of tech companies got involved, including Salesforce. Now, Salesforce found me, watched some of the videos I was doing of my early work in the virtual broadcast studio, and reached out to me and said, look, we need some good, concise insight on how has the insurance industry changed as a result of COVID-19. We want to use that to open our section within this big, massive global insurance conference. Would you be able to do it? And we had a number of conversations back and forth. I took them through the customized work that I've done in every industry. I took them through a tour of all the work that I've been doing over the years within the insurance industry. I've talked to dozens of associations. CEOs of massive global insurance companies have had me in for talks on how their industry is changing. And I was able to prepare through some very detailed research, a very concise, customized overview of just how that industry is changing as a result of COVID-19. So what I did was in August, I filmed in my green screen studio with this blank wall behind me and just pure green screen in this case, sent it to my overseas producer, and she did her magic with a lot of stock footage that is sensitive to the issues at hand, with a lot of custom titles and a lot of custom work. And the conference actually ran today. The video ran first overnight in Singapore. I actually had some email coming in from people from Asia who saw it and thought, wow, this is really cool. And then it finally ran today at 1 o'clock. And I'm just crazy excited about this thing, and I'm going to share it with you. And you're going to be seeing a lot about this. It's already up on my website. You can hit my blog. You'll find it there. And there is a custom web page that leads you to the different sections, because there are really 8 different components to the video that put in perspective not only how the insurance industry has changed, but how business has changed as a result of COVID-19. And this is but one example of the type of thing that organizations are starting to look to me for. So here we go. Have a watch, and you can find the full video on my website. As an insurance company executive, here's a question you need to ask yourself. Who led the digital transformation of your company? Your CEO? Your CTO? Your CIO? No, the correct answer is COVID-19. Think about what you have been through in the last several months as this global pandemic took hold, and we witnessed the massive and rapid virtualization of every single aspect of the global insurance industry. I'm Futurist Jim Carroll, and I've spent my time over 25 years assisting and advising organizations worldwide on the transformative trends that will shape their future, the innovation strategies they need to pursue, and the transformational mindset that they need to have to align to a world in which truly the future belongs to those who are fast. Over that period of time, I have spent time on stage with a vast number of insurance associations, a wide variety of major insurance companies, as well as events for broker and agency distribution channels. I've talked about the transformative trends which are reshaping this industry, and now in the new microscope of what has happened with COVID-19, I'm ready to share with you the insight of what has happened and how this industry will never be the same going forward. Here's an interesting statistic. A McKinsey study indicated that for the very first time, 75% of people surveyed used digital channels. You certainly witnessed that in terms of all of the new forms of interaction that you have had to suddenly and dramatically support throughout every single aspect of your insurance operations. The CEO of Manulife recently observed about the changes that have come into the insurance industry by commenting that we no longer really think of ourselves as competing against other life insurance companies around the world. We're really competing against other companies that are delivering the kind of customer experience that all customers want, the customer experience that they get from organizations like Apple and Netflix. The reality is this: COVID-19 has led us into a world in which digital transformation is no longer an option, it's oxygen. These issues are not new. Back in 2013, I had a small, intimate session with CEOs of a number of global life insurance companies, and we spoke about the challenges that they perceived in the industry. They indicated as far back as that point in time that they considered the ability to develop a direct relationship with the customer to be their biggest challenge and their biggest opportunity. They perceived that mobile technology would form a key part of that form of interaction going forward into the future. They spoke of the fact that they saw the impact of disintermediation coming back, but with a vengeance. And we've been talking about that within the industry for years. Their overwhelming comment: can we meet the expected customer experience fast enough? Do we have the agility? Do we have the flexibility to align ourselves to this new era of rapid consumer expectations? Prior to the arrival of the global pandemic and COVID-19, the insurance industry was already in the midst of a massive disruption. We were dealing with a world of real-time risk underwriting. As a result of massive hyperconnectivity, we were dealing with massive disruption occurring with acquisition channels as a result of social media, branding, mobile technologies, and other influencers in attracting the new consumer. And overall, we were dealing with a shift in the speed of change within the industry to the speed of Silicon Valley as insurtechs and fintech companies came to drive the innovation agenda. A recent HBR Analytics Pulse report indicated that 70% of insurance company executives now believe that the pace of change is being set by technologically savvy competitors. That's a reality going forward, and that in and of itself drives the need for digital transformation. Think at a macro level how COVID-19 has shaped the innovation and transformation agenda for so many organizations. We witnessed the massive, fast, and transformative virtualization of entire industries literally overnight. The implications are that the future is faster than it was pre-COVID-19 and is still speeding up. The fact is, over the last many months, organizations have learned something new about the concept of speed and agility. because they've had to practice what they preach. We've had to move so fast that decision-making paralysis, which previously held us back, has been literally obliterated from the corporate agenda. New winners are emerging, and a simple fact is this: their key success factor for going forward is speed, agility, and flexibility. You're either a part of this transformation or you're not. What has happened is that COVID-19 has held up a mirror to the industry, highlighting where things were broken, or in some cases where even a greater innovation and transformation is absolutely required. Think about how business in every single industry has changed around you as a result of COVID-19, and the fact that perhaps the biggest change has been with customer acquisition, customer interaction, and customer support. We've witnessed a complete and fundamental realignment and transformation of how customers expect to be able to do business with us today. And ask yourself this: how hard is it for your customers to do business with you in this new era of accelerated expectations? And how hard do you have to work to meet that ever-increasing higher bar of digital expectations? When you think about it, every company is now ranked next to the world's best when it comes to customer service. Organizations like Amazon, Apple, and other digital leaders. There is an expectation for sophisticated self-service in all of their interactions with every single organization. There is an expectation for an instant buying process with immediate confirmation of the transaction. There is a requirement to meet their new comparison shopping mindset. There is increased use of analytics and AI to support the buying decision process with intelligent suggestions and alternatives. This leads to an expectation for relevant, personalized recommendations. And if you don't do these things, you face an increasing potential loss of loyalty and increased customer churn. What's the bottom line impact of all of these trends? In a nutshell, you've got to deliver simplicity on top with complexity underneath, with a robust, scalable, customer-focused infrastructure in everything you do, because the customer is now in charge of your destiny. Competition has been redefined. It's not just those with the best product or service, but those with the best customer support, interaction, and support tools, the ability to exceed heightened customer expectations. And what is really happening here is that speed is now dictated by companies in the technology space who innovate at the speed of Silicon Valley. It's way faster than you have ever experienced before. And what it demands is a robust, scalable digital infrastructure to support all of these changes and allow you to continue to innovating at the speed demanded. In addition, there's a greater reliance on digital partners to help you to get done the things that need to be done. You need more sophisticated partners to help you move along at the speed required, skills which might not necessarily be in your skill set. And not everyone has done this. One study of CIOs indicated that only 21%, only 1 in 5, believe that they have gone to an all-digital environment. The bottom line for insurance is this: buying insurance today has become like buying groceries, a book, or any other commodity product. And you're in the game and you've got to meet these expectations. This demands massive innovation in customer-oriented systems. But it's not just that. It involves a massive innovation with direct-to-consumer models or a need to empower agents and brokers with adequate information to support the interaction with their own customers. And all this demands agility, flexibility, and the ability to align to fast-moving trends. Here's the reality of the new consumer and customer in the insurance world today. They have an expectation for more video-based consultation because everybody's been living in a world of video conferences. They now expect faster underwriting and approval of policies. It is said that when someone goes to an automotive lot and buys a car, they expect to be able to be approved for a loan for that vehicle in 45 seconds or less, and then they expect to be able to do the same thing with an insurance policy. The consumer living in this 24/7 virtual world now expects a 24/7 virtual response. With the customer working at home, they want access to an agent, to their distribution channel, to support desks, anytime, anywhere. They want fast turnaround Insurance is now like a grocery order. You need to meet these expectations. They expect an information-rich interaction. They expect to have a digital wallet with access to the entire universe of their relationship with you. And they are less forgiving than ever before of brokers and agents who don't live up to their digital expectations. Years ago, the CIO of New York-based AXA Equitable had this to say about the broker and agent of the future. The younger generation of financial professional will almost certainly demand online self-service. They will want to text any questions they have into the service center or self-service from their mobile device. We're going to have to be able to provide that capability. It's how they will operate, and it's what they expect of us. The generational impact of this new customer is massive. We have shifted from a world in which someone might say, I spoke to my dad and he introduced me to his financial advisor, to a customer today who might observe that I'm checking Reddit and I'll plan to buy my insurance online. The biggest issue is this. It's the consumer driving these changes based upon their expectations from other industries. Think about what has happened within your industry. We've seen a massive uptick in digital business expectations. The bar of expectations in terms of customer service excellence in the digital channel has increased to an unprecedented degree. It's no longer just fintech and insurtech driving this change. Suddenly, your slow-moving competitors are moving faster than ever before. Risk assessment, volatility, new claims, pressure on margins and reserves, these are all new realities in this pandemic era. You have a need for continual product reinvention and innovation to keep up with new demands as a result of COVID-19. So what needs to be done in the context of this reality? Two things. You need to reframe your innovation agenda, and you need to check your speed. For a long time, I've explained innovation as not just the development of new products and new services, but as an organization that at a leadership level and throughout the organization, three simple questions are constantly asked. What can we do to run this business better? What can we do to grow this business? And most important, what can we do to transform this business? For a long time, insurance organizations have focused on running the business better. How do we squeeze efficiencies out of our operations through the deployment of technology? How do we get to faster product innovation and development to grow the business? Or how might we innovate in the context of our distribution channels to grow the top line? But now with the arrival of COVID-19, digital transformation has taken over the forefront of the innovation agenda. And it is up to you to ensure that you are part of the journey, particularly when it comes to the customer experience, because it's no longer an option. So how well are you doing at this innovation voyage? In the HBR study, only 7% of insurance executives believe that their operations were entirely digitized. Barely 1/3 rank themselves as an 8 or a 9 or a 10 on a 10-point scale. Clearly, we are only at the starting stage of the transformation experience, but the new customer demands that we go there faster than ever before. This is all about a transformative mindset. What's the second thing that needs to be done? Check your speed. Focus on agility, flexibility. Your ability to move at the speed of change is now more important than ever before. Think about how quickly other industries reacted to the reality of what happened with the global lockdown. Suddenly, a massive shift of customers to the world of online shopping led to the grocery and retail industry having to reinvent themselves at a speed which was simply blinding. Healthcare talked about the concept of telemedicine for years, and in a matter of weeks or months, it had to implement telehealth strategies that made sense and that were possible given the limited focus and range of the technology that it had. Companies talked about collaborative workforces for years, but suddenly the massive virtualization of entire workforces overnight led to the reality of this trend emerging at a speed that was simply staggering. What you really need to do is focus on your agility, your flexibility, your ability to align yourself to the speed of change, because we truly live in a world in which the future belongs to those who are fast. My advice to you is simple. Think big, start small, scale fast. Futurist, Jim Carroll. You know, let me just reframe some cameras and get some additional things happening here. It's a really strange life when you are down here. And your entire universe is found in these green walls, and you're standing here and you're talking to 800 people by looking into a camera. And I've been at this for 7 months, and I tell you, it's weird, but it seems to be working. I know all of us are working really hard to try to reinvent ourselves in this very complicated new space, and you look at what I've done, and number one, it's a heck of a lot of fun. Number two, I get to golf and do a keynote on the same day. Number three, I think the content is there. I think I've managed to pull together the type of stuff I was doing in Vegas and Morocco and Tokyo and Sydney and around the world, sharing insight on the future and trends of what comes next, but doing that in a virtual format. And then number four, I think I've nailed how to do virtual. You're going to a ton of Zoom meetings, Zoom conferences, whatever they are, and there's just absolute pathetic crap out there. I am so stunned by just how bad some of this content is, and the fact that people are doing this type of stuff and putting out a really lousy product out there. So I'm pushing the limits here. You can see, with all these cameras and all this stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. So I mean, I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm going to keep working away at this and doing what I can. And stay tuned, because how's that song go? By the Carpenters. How about that? We've only just begun. Have a good one. Thank you for watching. Like many organizations, you're using online webinars to reach your leadership team, association members, or other executives with the critical issues of an ever-challenging world. But sometimes an online webinar won't do it. I'm Futurist Jim Carroll, and for 25 years I've been providing my insight to organizations around the world. And now I can deliver to you a highly customized, professionally produced video series that focuses on the key leadership issues that you need to address with your team, the trends that they need to think about, and the innovative mindset that they need to pursue to align themselves to a world in which the future belongs to those who are fast. Here's how it works. I work in my home broadcast studio to prepare a series of highly customized short video clips which get across the key issues that we need to address. I then send these to my overseas producer, and she provides us professional series of video clips which you can then use as an overall training course program to bring your leadership team up to date with a world which is changing faster than ever before. We can enhance this ability with a customized series of online webinars from my same home broadcast studio, where I can deliver you a multimedia-rich, highly engaging, and massively interactive online webinar. I would encourage you to reach out to me, and let's have a discussion about what you need to accomplish and how my professionally produced broadcast videos can help you align to a world in which you need to think big, start small, and scale fast. Futurist Jim Carroll. Let's talk.